Good morning. This is Brett, and welcome to my backyard. It's another beautiful day here in East Texas. I love living in East Texas. It's the last day of November, and you can see I'm still in my short breeches. The weather is just perfect out here. And today, what I'm doing is working on propagating some more roses for next year. I love roses. I've got several different varieties, and I always like to have more. One thing I learned to do a few years ago was to propagate off of the mother plant to get some more growing around the house. And today I have this beautiful specimen. You can see it's about on its last leg. Still very pretty. Still got some good smell. Oh, it still smells as sweet. But what we're going to try to do is get a few of these going to have some more of them for next year. So sadly, we're going to take that bloom off, and then we're going to make a couple of cuttings out of this one here. And what I want to start off doing is removing that bloom. Got a pair of shears here, and I'm just going to go right above the buds. I'm going to make my cuts. I'll show you here along there. You can see some of the new buds coming on. I've had these since they were harvested in some water, so it's soaking that up. The rose is trying to get going on its own. And what we're going to do is cut these into about 9-inch pieces or so. And so I'm going to come up to my top bud up here, go just above it, maybe an eighth or quarter inch, and we're going to try to slant that cut a little bit back, facing away from that top bud up there. Alright, got that going. Sad to see that go, but it's going to be good to have so many more of these come next year. And then this one's long enough, as you can see here, that I think I'm going to get 2 cuttings out of this one. So I'm going to pick this other bud right here in the center. We're going to do the same thing, just come a little bit above that, face that cut away from it, try to cut it as clean as we can. And then now that we've got these 2 approximately 9-inch pieces here, we're going to get them prepared to go in the soil. And so what I like to do, if possible, is we're going to take about the bottom 2/3 of it here, and these little buds that we have, we're going to go ahead and remove them, because they'll grow a stem up above the ground, but what we're trying to do is get some rooting going on here. So I'm just going to pinch them off. If you get them while they're young like this, very easy to pinch off. Got 2 of them on this stem here. Let's see if I can show y'all what that looks like. And we've got that pulled down. If that camera will focus here. It may not, but anyway, that's down below the bark here. Going to allow some rooting to come out of there. We're going to give it a little bit more help, more places for the roots to come out of as well. I forgot to mention, when we're harvesting these to get ready to go, we want to try to get about 1 year growth. Your stuff that's just grown in the last couple of months may be a little green, may not hold up very well to rooting, and your stuff that's very old, it's gotten thicker, it's got more bark on it, the bark is thicker, it's more set in its ways, kind of like us guys as we get older. It kind of gets more set in its ways, and it wants to be a stem. So if we get it when it's about a 1 year growth, we can kind of coerce it into doing what we're wanting to. And so now that we've got the buds removed, we've got it cut to our length, I'm just going to take my shears that I've got here. I don't know if y'all can see this, but we're going to shave down a little bit. We don't want to cut all the way to that core. We're just going to give it a little bit more exposure here, just taking a little bit of that bark off to give those roots a nice area to try to come out from. I don't know if y'all can see this on here or not, but I'm just taking off a little bit of that bark, just getting down in there a little bit, not too much. And that's all there is to it. And I only did that on that section. Like I said, about 2/3 of it is what we're going to try to get rooting. So as you can see here, I got about the 2/3 of it here, and we've trimmed a little bit of that bark off to get down into the part that's actually growing. We'll have some roots that'll come out of that. Went all the way around it here. May do one more little slice right in here just to give it a little more help. And then we're going to take that, we're going to plant it, leaving the top third above the soil to grow. We've got one bud up there. It's going to start growing out the little limb from it here. And we're going to see how these go. Now, these, you're not going to have a 100% success rate anytime you do this. So I like to do several at one time to make sure I get some of them. But you'll enjoy having more roses out in the garden or on your front porch from these. And they're quick, as you can see, easy to do. If you'd happen to have thorns, this one didn't. You might be able to see in this one where this one had a little thorn. Let's see. You can see right there where thorn was. We're just gonna, we'll pinch that spot out the same as we would the buds. And that's all there is to it. Just remove those thorns on the bottom 2/3 if yours happens to have the thorns. Give a good rooting spot there as well. And that's it for today. I got several more of these to do, but just be sure when you get these planted, like I said, 2/3 below the ground, make sure you keep them good and moist for a little while to get those little roots started, and you'll be enjoying a bunch more roses come next spring. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment below, and y'all have a great weekend.